Thank you. He's a clever man, combining two not usual approaches. He's a biotechnical engineer, CEO of a company working or playing role in biotechnological environments related to cleaning, food productions and also environmental issues related to those problems. And he understood early that project management was a key for the operation of the company, and he take the flag, and I think, and he's currently a vice president of a Spanish project management association related to IPMA, so the International Project Management Association, and I think he plays an integrated view, and I think we can benefit of his vision related to those topics in the presentation, titled Benefits of Project Management in Engineering Companies. Sorry, I was missing the name of his company, which is SELCO. So with no more time spent in presentation, I'm pleased to present you Mr. Jesús Martínez Almela. I think it will be very, very interesting, his presentation.
Thank you very much, my friend. Like you said, when a friend speaks with a hair, it's not objective. So I appreciate too much. And let me, nevertheless, to identify who is my presentation. This is, yeah, I am here. That is a good example in order to what happened with the IT project that run. So I suppose that we'll be starting in a few minutes. The major part of the presentation, you have all this information in the pen drive. So I think that I have more or less 1 hour, and I would like to congratulate to Luis for the excellent presentation, because it's permit right now focus what happened when an engineering company working with governance criteria in competencies in project management, what happened in the market. I agree with you in all, but I disagree with you in one, only in one. You are working in a wrong standard. The PMI is not the future. The IPMI is the future. In IPMI, we're talking since the 18th with project governance.
Can I say something?
Okay.
My advisor, Ronnie Turner, is the editor of the IPMI.
I know for these reasons. So in IPMI, we work in standards. Is our international baseline competence, the ICB. Is the PMI book of knowledge in IPMI. But we have also a governance of organization, the assessment organization. Okay? So, in Spanish said, torear, said, buen torero. When the CEO applies the governance and the project concept in competence in project management. So that is the aim of my presentation. Okay? So congratulations again for the excellent, because the question is who we are and what we do. Okay? In IPMI we have 4 levels of project manager certifier. What is the C and why is the A project manager certified? Okay? So, a brief presentation about my company. My company is created by myself when I come back from US after my specialization in Stanford University, in Stanford School of Engineering. Right now, we have a part of a major group, around 400 people and 300 millions of euros of turnover. And we work with projects internally like a PMO, and apply our service like a PMO, okay? Basically, our major part is focused in projects and projects for animal production, okay? Protein production. Protein production is meat, fishing, eggs, and milk. And what happened in the hair since the last Second World War? How many new inhabitants living in the hair in the past 70 years? How many kilograms of meat we produce, and what is the footprint of this production? It's a part of, mainly is the basis, the reasons for a start with the project management in order to create a general overview between my responsibility, like CEO, my board of members, my board of project managers, and my main board, my client, my customer, the market. This is the window market. This is the window governance. That's the most important. Create value. One of the major errors of the standards, PMI, or is a joke, or EPMI, is not true. The project management is behind the standards, metrics, quality, and timing. That's not true. Or it's only a part of the truth. The standard is create value for the client. Okay? That is the most important behind. We are working, CELCO is a Spanish company. You know, in Valladolid, Villarreal is my town. Okay? So we're working in the Champions League, okay? So we have also facilities in Parma in Italy, Bulgaria in Portugal, Clinton, North Carolina in the States, Santiago de Chile, and Nanning in China. What happened in this part of the world? All these parts of the world are the major concentration on livestock in the world. Only in pigs, only in swine, in these parts produce around 1 billion permanent heads. 1.000 millones de cerdos se producen al año en el mundo. Y hablo de cerdos, I'm talking only about swine. We have another, what is the internal structure? We are talking before, or one question of the people, it's about OPM, and Luis said, well, different level for applying OPM, okay? I am here, chief executive, I have the board of directors, external companies, and the OPM apply it to the engineering because we are an engineering company and we serve engineering projects. 3 very different engineering units, multi-projects and multi-program of projects, okay? Industrial projects, environmental, waste to energy, the major, is the diamond of the corn, is the environmental project. We have 6 international patents. And the LabGen projects, is the genomics projects, proteomica. We are talking later about the different concepts. In the life, to be done the first day, siempre hay un primer día. And for CELCO, the first day was April 1999, when CELCO was presented to the international concourse promoted by the Agricultural Research Service with USDA and US DOA, Department of Energy, and EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. And one team from one small town in one small province in Spain win against 100 US proposals. Biggest professor, biggest engineer, people from PMI working with PMI criteria. So, small people from Spain works and win this project, mostly program project demonstration. During 3 years, all the plants, different countries, was proposed that an internal control plants every 12 hours, 3 years, 2 times a day. So the budget for US government was around $10 million. We are controlling gases in 2 different labs. Another difference for us, for our company, is the capacity for create knowledge, for create science. We are published 163 scientific documents, mostly indexed. And we have 6 international patents, and we are writing or collaborated in 3 books, presented in 63 international congress. And still now we was inverted 8 million euros in projects for research and development. That's commitment. The commitment of the project governance, my board, myself, my team, market. When we practice the project governance in an engineering company, managed with OPM criteria, asset of organization, with the professional people certified in competences, the theory run and run well. Different information about more data around this information, I repeat, you have in your pen drive. Let me to translate to you or to combine to you what is our vision statement, my vision statement. So, our objective is to become the global leader in technology-based sustainable development processes applied to the production and processing of animal-derived proteins. Our technological processes are based on scientific and technological rigor and are capable of combining profitable and sustainable for our clients, improving infrastructures for production, technologies for treatment, the waste and byproducts, and all demonstrable throughout total traceability process. We're talking about project governance, we're talking about OPM, we're talking about multi-projects in a programs in a big portfolio. Okay? The development, research, and application of our technological proposal cannot be understood without applying integrated project management multi-criteria. Mission, another important question for the project governance, to grow with our clients. Why? Where? 5 key points. Innovation. Innovation per 5. Innovation in genetics, in knowledge for technological issues, waste to energy or waste to clean water. In order to integrate the triangle environmental, biosafety, and welfare, the animal welfare. We're talking, I talk later about this question, this specific question. What is a problem and what is a challenge? Because the human stupidity is huge. But one of the major requirements today for produce food is animal welfare. What is animal welfare? And where integrate the animal welfare in the design of our projects? Permanent innovation in treatment, purification, and evaluation of technologies for applying, and Our proposal must always lead to improve in our clients' competitiveness. We're talking about the sustainability and profitability for our clients. Competencies is the integration of knowledge, experiences based. What is knowledge? Training, education, attitude, behavior, demonstration whilst practicing in the profession, in project management. And experiences is research in accordance with the definite standards. That's our diamond of corn. Is the ICB. In Spain is National Competence Baseline. Bases para la competencia en dirección de proyectos. Edited by OCDP. Es el organismo certificador de la dirección de proyectos, de la cual me honro presidir. 3 different levels: contextual competences, technical competences, and behavioral competences. We're talking about competences. What is competence in public education? What happened in university with the public competence? We have the excellence engineers, excellence with excellent technical competence, but the people don't run in the market. The gap for the needs of the companies is huge. Why? Because navegan en alta mar. Competence, contextual, it's critical. Is better? Okay, great. So, Mr. Chairman, I need 5 minutes more. Okay. That's great. Okay. Thanks a lot. Mr. Camera is fine? Yeah, great. So, what is the goal of a project, of a program, and portfolio? The project is to produce the deliverable. It's clear. Your teachers, the master of the University of Valladolid, good master. Talking about the goal of the project, this is clear. But how many of you have clear what's a program? How many? What is a program of projects? Never. Oh my God. That's the program for the master. What's a portfolio? Okay. The program is to achieve the strategic change Luis talking about this morning. And the portfolio is coordinate, optimize, and align with the strategy. Okay? About the vision and strategy in project are related to the business case of a project. The program is realized by a program, and in portfolio is aligned and monitored in the portfolio. Business benefit mostly are largely excluded in a project, but largely included in a program, excluded in the portfolio, basically. Manage it, govern it, but not excluded in the portfolio. What happened with the organization? Permanent organization or not permanent organization in the company or outside the engineering company, often excluded in a project. Usually included and excluded in the portfolio. And finally, times and costs. Conventional standards, PMI, PM Book of Knowledge, exceptional certification, so are defined in the business case and is managed in the project. Are role defined with the strategy, but break down to the individual project within the program, and the portfolio are based and prioritize the strategic targets. Okay? So behind the standards, more of the standard. Okay? Not only the 3 traditional standards. So in SELCO we work with this model and come back to the plaza, come back to Toreando, applying the theory in the place. What is in our field? In environmental projects or biotechnology projects or nutritional projects in the animal production. Projects, what happened in the stable, in the zootechnical level, okay? Genetics, food installation, and health welfare. That means create value in optimization process and increase the animal welfare, okay? What's programs? What happened in the farm, in the environmental level? Manure, purines. Purines, manures and slurries. Purines y estiércoles. Carcass mortalities. Usually, the animal's diet is a huge problem right now. It's a safety question. In the United States, this question is critical. It's in the bioterrorism law. This is a competence of the Minister of Defense in US, not agricultural competence, okay? We're talking about who is the project on site, joint evaluation versus treatment, two strategies, economic and operational viability, and laws. What happened with the laws? Mostly usual, the engineers spend 20%, 30% of our time reading the new laws, applying or futures. This is a huge wall. But it's important in the design, not design a project with the actual regulations. This is our commitment like project managers. It's to know what is happening, what is programmed outside the screen. And finally, portfolio. Portfolio, what happened outside the farm is the traceability per se. It's a slaughterhouse, distribution, and client. It's a food safety and quality, and the footprint of animal production. Concept like footprint here, virtual water. How many of you knows how many quantity of water is needed for produce one pig with 100 kilograms of life? ¿Cuántos litros de agua se necesitan para producir un cerdo de 100 kilos de peso vivo? $3,6 toneladas, 3,6 metros cúbicos. ¿Y para una vaca de 500 kilos? A cow, it's a big United majors call it, so around 465 kilograms. You need 12 cubic meters. This is the footprint, the virtual water. And in this water, around 45% is nitrogen. And the nitrogen is the major challenge in the earth. Not the CO2, not the Kyoto Protocol. I'm talking later about why and where we design in order to recover or destroy the nitrogen in the waste. It's important in the case of the individual projects. Okay. Why SELCO started 20 years ago? New concepts versus old criteria. That is the importance. So we are, in the last 16 years, we are multiplied per 6 the population, inhabitants in the air. No engineers working in this field since a couple of years ago. Usually it's the veterinary. The veterinary is like a god for the farmer. The concept of engineer and project don't exist, don't available in the farming. So what is, in SELCO we're working very close with the universities, and also we have members of the research team in the Murcia University vet school. And one of my best friends is Dr. Muñoz Luna, is one of the best geneticists in animal production in the world, in Murcia University, said, when I'm studied in the vet school in Cordoba, my name is M. Muñoz, no? We have only one cow for 5 years. and the name era Paquita. Paquita is the name of the vaca, the cow. So Paquita's diet before my timing for make practices. Okay, what is the goal in vet school in these times? The manure, the carcass, is not a veterinary problem. It's an operational problem. Okay, so the veterinary function from the dynamics to the offer, saving animals. That's the goal of vet school. Obviously, it's not possible to produce animals, to produce food in the 21st century with this vision. For that, it's very critical to apply the concepts of project management with this new paradigm. You have all these reasons for understand better the new paradigm. We're talking about the new paradigm. We are also writing a tool called, this is the history of SELCO in the last 20 years, it's called Producir carne de cerdo en el siglo XXI, un nuevo orden zootécnico. The production of swine meat in the 21st century is a new zootechnical order. So we're talking about a challenge. Another mentality is an opportunity to be better and different, taking and lead the rest in terms of, we are talking before about the challenge and problem. Do we assume this new order, eco-design and eco-management in projects for animal production, for food production? We consider that a challenge or mostly a problem. Well, these men, no pasaría el casting de Gran Hermano, ¿verdad? Usted no pasaba el casting. One of the most better minds in the last century. Only two things are infinite, the universe and the human stupidity. And I am sure about the former. Solo hay dos cosas infinitas que él decía que sabía. La infinidad del universo y la infinidad de la estupidez humana. Y de la primera no estaba seguro. Well, when we manage incompetences, we're talking about the behavioral competence. We are nice and good engineers, but what is our behavioral competences when we apply projects in programs? More reasons about, let me come back, this part. No, this is also a joke of the chairman for more loose time. This is the problem of design of, it's not a joke, the new Vista. Do you have the same problem with the Vista? Huh? So I'm talking about important is the clarify, to be clarified, to be clear in the concepts. When we're talking about I like to utilize this definition, animal agriculture. When we project and we manage projects in this field, the major problem is I am farmer and my neighbor is agricultor. In English, the farmer is the same, working with vegetables or working in animal production. In the rest of the world, not yet. It's animal agriculture. This is the mostly problem in order to design this kind of solutions, the projects, the deliverables. It's what happened with the traditional circulation when the agriculture and the animal production was balanced. Usually, all the manures not the carcass, not the mortalities, but all the manures was utilized for fertilization. Protein converted in crop, crop converted in feed, feed converted in food. In this moment it's not possible. It's no balance. It's all the major part of concentration. Last Monday, I am driving, so I am come back to Madrid from Sao Paulo this Monday, and I am driving for the route from close to Aranda de Duero to Valladolid. Huge investments in excellent wineries, excellent, thousands of euros for this huge installation. The offensive order to put in is what happened with the client, with the tourism. What is the goal of these projects? The major problem in Castilla y León is the zonas vulnerables. Do you have a big risk in Castilla y León? With the swine culture is concentrated in located area, and you don't have land for applying the manure. And you need projects for respect the environment, but you don't have money for pay this, for internalize the cost. This is the challenge of the modern animal production, not only in Castilla y León, it's also in... Why? This is the major part. Usually only, I think, Joaquin, I think only we are in the world another organism no effective. It's like a motor, automotor, it's like 40% of profitability. Well, the animal convert only the 33% of feed in meat, and the rest excrete in feces and in urine. On this excretion, called manure, the 34% goes to the air, and the rest manure is spread in the soil. Impacts eutrophization and nitrification. That is important when we apply, depending of the culture and the pasturage, specialization in the organization in order to integrate the specialized crops with specialized stock breedings. It's the templates in order to develop the program of projects in animal production. I want to focus 5 minutes in this slide, because this is the governance in a portfolio, programs of projects in projects, mono projects or multi-projects, and all converted in the chain value of stock breeding. Okay, this is the environmental integration. We're talking about environmental nutrition, new concept. One part of projects of SELCO are related with environmental nutrition. The second one is the installation, save energy. Our stables are practically the same like the oldest Romans. No new designs in animal production. Our friends from Escuela Superior de Ingenieros Agrónomos need to improve the designs for animal production are the same, but in all the world, no innovation in installation for animal production. That's more dangerous in China or in Indonesia, because also the people living with the animals. You remember the last pandemic? It's related with animal production, food safety, okay? La gripe aviar, or SARS. Handling the manure, animal welfare, and finally, treatment technology. But this was not enough in order to internalize the cost, and the portfolio need to start with a new program of projects in order to create competitivity and sustainability. Why? With a new program, the LabGem. The laboratory of proteomics in order to internalize the cost and to demonstrate with the DNA, that is not applying the ISO 9000. It's a documental system. But with the DNA of the animals, it's possible to recognize the genetic from the grandfather and grandmother conditions that we are hitting, what is hitting enough farming. And this is an excellent tool for the slaughterhouse or for the packing and the distribution. Where are and where do and when you are. That is the most important, this creation of value. And this is the program of projects applied in food safety. Traceability and safety. Okay? So many reasons. I am talking before about more people to feed, greater purchasing. This is the international. Look at that. About any 12, 14 years, the population in the herd is multiplied by 2. Also, when we analyze the correlations with the GMP per capita and animal consumption, is absolutely related. It's 0.9 to 2. That is also the forecast for animal production in the 2015. Look at that, huge quantity, million of tons in meat. Aquaculture, new challenge. When an animal is arrived in a farm, in the herd, usually we control the manure. But what happens in aquaculture? The concept is the point source impact and non-point source impact. One example, the aquaculture in Norway or the aquaculture in Chile. In the last 20 years, Chile was created the most effective salmon culture production. Was created around 400 permanent jobs. In this moment, all is changed. New problems. Pollution affect 1,000 kilometers at north and create new algae. These new algae, for the action of the effect of the sun, create a microtoxin, and the metabolism of this microtoxin is associated with a new virus, VIA. The VIA still now affect to the 40% of daily production of salmons in Chile. Bad design. It's the importance of project governance. That is not a good project. It's only has dured 20 years. It increases the system. Well, new challenge in the herd because we don't have more fish. Nos hemos cargado todos los caladeros. We don't have fish. Wild fish. And we need to produce fish. Where? Aquaculture. That's the prevision from the FAO for the next years. The figure shows to you what is the evolution of concentration in animal production in the different parts of the world. The relation also, the growth of the population with the production of different kinds of meat. But the major part, the major problem is the environmental concerns. That is the creation of when our politics talking about the Kyoto Protocol and CO2 and biofuels and something like that. Look at that. This is the nitrogen reactive that the people produce in oxides of nitrogen, nitrogen oxides. This is all the nitrogen oxide in food production, and this is all the nitrogen that we start to the atmosphere per year. So we are an excess of 20 teratons of nitrogen reactive any year in the herd. Like the 8th of Louis this morning. This is the 5. It's not the 8th. It's bad for the Oriental people. Well, the 5 times, if we bring all this quantity of meat in 24 tons trucks, we have 5 times the circumference of the world. But the most dangerous is that we have in our route for 4 meters wide, and it's not 10 meters, it's 10 centimeters deep, 205,000 kilometers full of shit. I'm sorry. That's the challenge in animal production. This is reported in the last FAO livestock long shadows. Look at that. This is like the cycle of life, the eco-leveling of the animal production. So the stock breeding generates 80% of the world greenhouse effect gas. 60% of oxide nitrogen is laughing like a gas. And the animal protein production in tons per year will duplicate in the 15. So, for example, to produce an animal of 110 kilograms, the direct environmental impact equivalent 1,000 liters of fossil fuel, the generation for this energy produced 2.5 tons of CO2. 2.5 tons of CO2 is equivalent to the average for a combustion of a small car, 1,300 centimeters during 6 months. And between 8 and 19 liters of water per heat and day is consumed for nutrition, and from 6 to 85 for cleaning. So if you add 300 kilograms of feed, vegetable protein, 1,000 liters of manure with 4 to 5 kilograms of nitrogen, and you need minimum 4 kilowatts electrics for eliminate this manure. It's not sustainable. That's not sustainable. So we need to apply the criteria of governance and the criteria integration multi-projects in this kind of projects. More detailed, this is not true also, the fertilization. So when we apply nitrogen from fertilization, it's not true that the crops bring this nitrogen. When you heat, you remember the excellent lechazo from yesterday? Yeah? So excellent, be fine. I like it too. But we are losing practically the 88% of the nitrogen that we apply for feeding in the animal. At the same in the vegetables, also the salad, when we apply inorganic nitrogen, we lose also all this ton in the different kinds of products. More reasons in order to analyze. I don't have time in order to explain the nitrogen cascade, but the idea is to show you what is happening in the records. This is the last publication in biogeochemicals. This is the pre-industrial flux, the nitrogen in the rivers, around 60. 5 minutes, Mr. Chairman. I try. This is the change. So the huge concentration, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Paraná, Brazil, Bolivia, Peru, south of Chile, all Europe, and Asia, basically China. So the enormous quantity of problems that the previous slide was nitrogen in the water. That is the nitrogen in the air. Is the dry deposition. Look at that also in the major parts of concentration. That is the risk. So most this information, because I don't have more time, is related with reasons for the design, for the start of the projects and the different programs of projects. Look at that. So this is the world population in 1,000 people and the agricultural area. So more people, less agricultural area. Another question that I was talking, but I don't have time, is when the politics make bad and utilize very bad governance. The people, our politics don't work and don't know what is happening in this project management or programs of portfolio or governance. So one of the major problems was created in animal production is bring the vegetable protein for agro-food and put the vegetable protein for agro-energy, biofuels and biodiesels. That was created another huge. More reasons. So we need to adapt our strategy in the programs because it's challenge. Only in Spain, the last year, the swine culture, Spain produced around 26 million swines, pigs, permanent. Only the last year, for this reason, increasing prices, the sector was to lose 500 million euros. When the farm apply projects for environmental sustainability. More of this information, we're talking about a new paradigm, the new challenge, the origin of this problem, the added problem, and where is the solutions. This is our job working with US Red Cross, and this is what happened, the needs in projects related with animal manure by segments. The most important for the next 5 years is air quality, treatment of manures, pathogens, antibiotics, and endocrines. So this is searched in order to align the programs of projects with the portfolio. And this is the market conditions in a traditional point of view, and this is the new right approach for animal production today. It's all more globalized, more close. It's more difficult to manage, and for the reasons we need to apply these tools in governance and in project management. We're talking about the standards, but the standards is different for the client, for the industrial, and for the customer. Different concepts. 3 minutes for finish. Okay, when I finish, I finish. So it's that fine. You think that this is the same myth? No, it's fine. Dr. Del Caño said, no, that's right. Different change. When we apply projects in order to identify the origin, it's possible to analyze what happened with the pH in the meat. When the animal is diet in the slaughterhouse, it's really important that the conditions of the animal are without stress. If the animal expresses the stress, increase the pH, and the comeback of the pH after the slaughterhouse, it creates, like technically is named PSE, carnes exudativas. When you go to any supermarket, you remember what happened in the bandeja? Make a sample, it's type of compresa, no? Loose water. Different kinds. Depends if the animal is nutrited, it's managed, not stressed, animal welfare, it's important. And this affects also the nutrition of the humans. Okay? You have all this information in the pen drive. We don't have time. The idea is to conclude with the importance of the competence elements. When we're working in applying the governance criteria and the mono-projects, multi-projecting programs in portfolios. You have the national competence baseline with this structure. You remember that we are seeing about project, program, and portfolio. You remember also what is happening applied. And when we design, the most important for the project managers working and designing is, I repeat, the contribution of the value management in the stock breeding. And for finishing also, the challenge for research in animal manure, don't forget, we need to internalize costs in order to make more competitive the sector. The quality in terms of the 8 components, and during this part of the presentation you have more detailed for the design of each part of programs that SELCO deliver, more detailed information about what happened with nutrition, what happened with the environmental concerns. You have, in this case, remember, in the bottom of in the top, I'm sorry, of the slide, you have the explanation about the parts of the program projects that we are information. So finally, this is an explanation of new models in animal production. It's 40,000 permanent heats managed by 6 people. So this farm produced around 4 million tons per year and produce 1.2 megawatts in anaerobic digestion and convert the nitrogen in clean water. It's around 1 million cubic meters per year, and apply this one for fertilizing the crops. In relation to handling, you are the same, safe water. Right? This is the average of mortality also in Spain, and I finish, Mr. Chairman. I promise you, I conclude. In terms of feed, important the design, the temperature, what happened in the farm, in the barn, with the emissions, and this is directly related with the quality of meat that we are saying in the previous pictures. That is the importance when we design the floors, the defecation area, the rest area. I don't like to see this kind of picture. Esto es una pocilga. That's not a farm for food production. And the major part of our farms, the people are working like that. More diets, more environmental impacts. We need to apply the project governance and the project criteria in order to change the mind. To change the mind. So, it's technical explanation why. So, this is the ventilation, the rest area. In terms of technologies, the designs, and this was the lesson learned. This was a huge work with different US universities in order to establish the algorithm for the mathematics. The maths is not an opinion. The mathematics is not an opinion. So when we apply algorithms in order to calculate emissions of pollutants, we have an excellent tool. The same of pathogens indicators, more or less learned, it's related with the ammonia emissions and economic feasibility analysis. Without economy, the project, the program, on the non-run. And finally, the conclusions. This is the last paper published in ACBA, American Society of Bioengineering. When you apply this kind of projects, integrated nutrition, management, environmental solutions, look at that. The advantages for emission of manure and the increasing of productivity. So you are changes as 50% less of mortality, the daily gain 10% more, the food conversion, it's how many feet heating the animal and how much convert. So heating less, convert more. The index is negative. And percent of rejection. The rejection is what happened with the meat with bad quality goes to the packer, to the distribution. So only with that, a farm with 6,000 pigs save around $25,000. Is this a solution for internalized environmental cost? This is the vision. The project governance applying in projects and in programs. More details in terms of economic evaluation and furthermore the traceability. Right? When we apply This is also stupid. I don't have time in order to explain to you what is this law, but the idea is new tool, new programs of projects in SELCO related with the new tools in order to internalize. In summary, project management competences in a company working with a project governance, integration knowledge and experience based. The responsibilities related with people is the unique, that's ring. Is the assessment of the organization, also in project management. So, this is also prepared for finish. My last picture is, so I'm sorry for the problems. This is question of the technical. So I don't know if the Mr. Chairman wanted to speak. And thank you very much. This is my contribution to the council. It's better. I think that this is a good idea. Huh?
I just have a small question.
Oh, waiting for the call.
Yeah, regarding what you are showing us a lot of challenge in the future and some tools like management, portfolios, stuff like that. What do you feel taking into account the enormous human stupidity and the evolution of the things regarding the food and the environmental problems? Let's say for 2050, for example.
The forecast made by the FAO are not illusionant. It's not beautiful. Probably, I am sure that is the main challenge in the next 10 years for the human in the earth. When we're talking about the climate change, the people, the mind, identify immediately cars, transportation, energy. Not true. The major impact is the food production. We have how many? 6 point? How many millions inhabitants in the earth? So we're talking about its most dangerous, normal dangerous CO2 is the oxide nitrogen. The nitrogen that we're talking nitrogen, but in the Greek is azoe. Azoe, azoto. Also the Italian speaking about azoto. Azote, le français. Azoe is life in Greek, etymologically. An excess of life, diet, the life in the air. It's stupid, that is related, but for this question is critical. A good governance in this kind of companies working with projects, with the tools of project management, the capacity, the certification of competences is critical. We need to make behind the traditional standards. It's not true. We need more standards, new standards in project management for aligning the programs with the strategy.
The trend toward the appearance of this type of organizations all over the world to visualize the wholes. I do not want to use the word systemic.
Yeah.
Do not be too insistent.
That's we are. If I close my eyes, I remember the names, and these names are associated with the face. In my last 20 years, in these 63 international concepts, we are the same people. Los mismos chivos. That is also another question. What happened here in the bottom, below the line? Votes for politics. What happened? We're talking about the families in land, in farming. One vote conditioning more things. What is happening in Europe with our PAC, la Política Agraria Comunitaria? You know how many, what is the percentage of all our pocket money. 65% of total budget in United Europe goes to farms, goes to the agriculture. Usually, and unfortunately, our politicians, not in Spanish, in the world, have a contract, eventual contract for 4 years. And we need to renew these 4 years. The science and engineering need to work in short, medium, and long time. This is the good important of the project social governance in order to design, to apply instruments like programs and portfolios. That is the major challenge in the world, to assure human safety, food safety, bioenvironmental concerns in animal welfare. Don't touch the animal welfare. Don't touch the animal welfare. You remember the pictures with the Chinese people in a train? Or in India? This be fine for the United Nations, no problem. But don't touch the life of one swine. Don't put to respect in a truck. You need 1 square meter per animal. And don't ride more of 8 hours because the animal goes to the slaughterhouse. What we are thinking. See, this is the human stupidity. So, conclusions. We need to push and talking with our politics about the tools to design and to apply the project management concepts. Also in the assessment of organization and in the social governance. When we push, especially when we push the project management tools in our politics, we are gaining.
Thanks for the answer. The question is that to push in these project management tools, you have to push into somebody. And my question is, where is the somebody? We don't see the organizations. And that's
it's a good question. It's a good question. 2 answers. First of all, PMI was reached to convert the PM book in AEIPRO standard. Carefully, it's a good goal. It's a good. Like now, EIPMA, I'm personally involved in a lobby in Brussels tax force in order to translate to the community this or others, because this is a sector and one sector of activity, but obviously it's like Don Quixote. It's like predicar, evangelization. It is evangelization. We evangelize with project management in Brussels, but we need to Muslim teacher.
Thank you so much. Any more questions? So thank you.
Thanks to you.